Hey, what's happening, everyone? Your friend Dean Kulaweera here. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone, I'm right here to help you folks out with job search tips, advice, and strategies to help you out in your job search. So shout out to everyone, first of all, tuning in on LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as Twitter. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. And of course, feel free to start dropping your questions or letting me know what your situation is in your job search. I'll be getting to any of your job search questions later on in the stream. But today, what I'm going to be covering is a question I've been getting asked every now and then from people. Dean, how do I grow my LinkedIn network? What are some tips for growing my LinkedIn network? Right. So that's what I'm going to be covering with you folks today. It's definitely a session you want to be prepared to take notes on. So, don't be ready to take notes because I'm going to be sharing some tips and advice that I myself have used like myself. Like, this is not just like some random stuff I'm pulling out of nowhere. These are some tips that I myself have used to grow out my LinkedIn network to I'm right at the cusp of reaching 30,000 connections, right? And primarily consisting of people that I want to be connected with, which is given the fact that I recruit in IT, this is mostly consisting of IT professionals, right? So I'm getting real close to that I think LinkedIn has that limit of 30,000 connections. But look, if you got a great network of connections, folks, I mean, there's just so many opportunities that can come your way, right? I've had job opportunities come my way. I've had opportunities for speaking engagements, which has further allowed me to, get my own personal brand out there. New connections, new friends. Like it's great when you have a great networking place. So that's what I wanted to do today. Is I wanted to share with you folks a couple of tips on how you can do that with your LinkedIn network as well. It will take work, it will take effort, it will take commitment, it will take consistency. But at least for those of you out there who are willing to go through that and do that, I guarantee that you will get, some great perspective today on how you can do that with your own network, right? So I see we got some comments here. We got so feel free to introduce yourself in the comments, folks. And again, let me know if you have any questions in regards to your job search and any questions you have, right? Or even in regards to today's topic. So with that being said, also I just wanted to quickly share, if you want to follow me on any of my other social channels, all my social links are at linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. Again, that's linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. So if you want to follow me on, I'm also active on I already mentioned YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn, but also Instagram, TikTok. I also have my podcast and the replays of this live stream on Spotify, Anchor.fm, also Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can also find me on there. So make sure you check out all my links, all my other social links over here, linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. Also, if you're on LinkedIn, make sure you subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. I release a new edition every Monday during the afternoons. And you can find it if you go to my LinkedIn profile after the stream. Just go to my LinkedIn profile, scroll down to the featured section, and if you scroll through the featured articles, you'll see one of them being my weekly LinkedIn article. So you can click on that and you can go to the page and make sure you hit subscribe so you get the notification every time I release a new article. Today's segment is sponsored by Tech Recruiters 360, which is my recruitment business. So if you're an IT professional in Canada, or if you're an organization looking to hire tech talent anywhere in Canada, you're experiencing challenges in your recruitment process, or maybe you're an IT professional, you're looking for your next gig, you're not sure how and where to find your next gig, you're struggling with getting in front of employers, definitely feel free to send me an introductory message or send me an email. All my contact details are on my LinkedIn profile. Happy to see if there's any way I can assist, or at the very least, definitely take a look at your current process and see if there's any way you can further improve it. If you want to hear some ideas and perspective from my end, right? So again, if you're an IT professional or if you're an organization looking to hire tech talent anywhere in Canada, make sure you reach out to me. I'm happy to see if there's any way I can personally assist you. This segment is also sponsored by DK Global Talent, which is my training business. I have a course called Applying to Jobs Online 101, which is created specifically for those of you out there who are your major challenges. You're applying for jobs, you're applying, but you're simply not able to get responses. So what I teach through my courses, and by the way, it's a 3-hour course. It could be completed at your own pace, at your own time. 3-hour course. You get lifetime access. And what I teach you how to do is how to make use of direct messaging to increase your responses to those job applications you're applying for. A lot of the people who are currently already on my course are experiencing as much as an increase of 20% or more in responses to their job applications, right? Actually getting responses from hiring managers as well as recruiters, and able to elicit those conversations that lead to interviews. So if that's a major challenge you're experiencing right now, feel free to check out my website for that course for more information, dkglobaltalent.com/get responses, dkglobaltalent.com/get responses for more information on that. All right. So that being said, today's topic again, folks, and before I get into that, make sure you like, comment, and share. Make sure you share this segment with anyone who might be wanting to get advice on today's topic, which is how to grow your network on LinkedIn. We got Navdeep in the comments who says just joined LinkedIn a few days back. Would love to listen to your tips to grow the network. Hey, absolutely, Navdeep. Glad to have you here with me, and appreciate you tuning in. Definitely hope to share some tips that'll be helpful for you and everyone else out there. Right. So thanks so much for tuning in, and hope you get value out of it. And again, everyone, as I'm going through today's segment, feel free to put any questions you have along the way as well, right? Whether it's related to this or anything job search or recruitment related as well. Now, before I get into today's segment, I wanted to share with you folks, this is more so for my fellow Canadians out there. Statistics Canada just released their labor force survey highlights for May 2022. So I just wanted to briefly share some highlights I saw from that report. So Statistics Canada reports employment increases in May. All right, this is for May, and this report was released just a couple of days back on June 10th. So the highlights are employment increases in May. Employment rose by 40,000, which is a 0.2% increase in May 2022, driven by full-time gains, which is an increase of 135,000 and 0.9%. Employment in the services producing sector rose by 81,000, which is 0.5% in May, with gains spread across several industries, including accommodation and food services. Employment in the goods producing sector declined by 41,000, so negative 1%, mostly due to a decline in manufacturing, which is a negative 43,000 and negative 2.4% decline. And it also goes on to say employment increased in Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, and Alberta. It declined in New Brunswick and was little changed in all of the provinces, including Ontario, which is where I'm at, and which is probably where most of you connected to me on LinkedIn are probably from. Total hours worked were little changed in May, but were up 5.1% compared with 12 months earlier. So obviously people are putting in more work hours. Average hourly wages increased 3.9%. Okay, so that's pretty good. So that's on average $1.18 to $31.12 on a year-over-year basis, up from 3.3% in April. And also, finally, another highlight is unemployment rate reaches a new record low. The unemployment rate edged down 0.1 percentage points in May, reaching a new record low of 5.1%. The adjusted unemployment rate, which includes those who wanted a job but did not look for one, fell 0.2% to 0.2 percentage points to 7% in May, the lowest rate on record since comparable data became available in 1976. Pretty cool. Well, maybe not. And the long-term unemployment accounted for 19.7% of all unemployment in May, up from 15.6% in February 2020. All right, so that was just some highlights from the report. If you want to read the full report, you can check this out on the Statistics Canada website, and it's called the Labor Force Survey May 2022. All right. So with that being said, let's get into today's topic, folks. Tips for growing your LinkedIn network. Now, why I wanted to speak about this is because I've been able to grow a pretty awesome network of connections on LinkedIn, and it's very useful as long as you're doing it the right way, and you're really clear about what it is you want to accomplish, right? And I just recently, again, like I mentioned before, like I'm just at the cusp of almost reaching my maximum of 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. And also in terms of followers, I just passed over 40,000 followers on LinkedIn. Now, the reason I mentioned this is because um, I might know a little thing or two about growing your network and being building a strong presence for yourself on LinkedIn. Right now, obviously, there's other people out there who have way more followers on LinkedIn, like millions of followers. So I'm not going to give you folks advice on how to get a million followers today, because I myself have not accomplished that. But what I can do is, if you have less than 30,000 connections on LinkedIn, if you have less than 40,000 followers on LinkedIn, this is something that I can speak of, because I have achieved reaching 40,000 followers on LinkedIn. So that being said, be prepared to take notes, folks. I'm going to share with you. I've got written down around 6 tips for you for you on how you can start building this. And tip number one is, let's start with intention, folks. Tip number one is intention. What is your intention? Right? Why do you want to grow your LinkedIn network? Oh, Dean, I want to get like I want to get 50,000 I want to get 40,000 followers on LinkedIn. I want to get my connections up to 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. Okay, great, but why? What is your intention, folks? Like, what are you trying to achieve by growing your network on LinkedIn? That is the most important part, and this is where so many people kind of lose their kind of focus, lose their sights on this whole thing. Is first, you got to get clear on your intention, because if you're not clear on your intention, I mean, you're not even going to commit to it, right? Because it does take work. Now, yes, there are some people out there that, they post this one thing, and they go viral, and suddenly they get like tens of thousands of new connections, hundreds of thousands of new followers. That's never happened to me, and that's probably not going to happen to most of you out there. Most of you are probably going to have to take my route, the route that I took, which is putting in work, putting in time, putting in effort, and doing it over a period of time. Now, speaking of intention, let's. I'm going to talk briefly about myself, right? Because I can speak about these other cases where people, they went viral and they got hundreds of thousands of followers overnight. I've never experienced that. I've never experienced that, so I can't talk about that. But what I can talk about is myself and my own experiences. So let's rewind back to 2016. All right, 2016. I made the decision. Hey, look, LinkedIn looks like a great platform, but I'm not much of a presence on LinkedIn. Right. This was back in 2016. Dean is relatively unknown in the tech industry, maybe outside of maybe a handful of people. But on LinkedIn, I think back in 2016, I probably had, I'd say, around 800, 900 connections or something like that on LinkedIn. Right, nowhere near as what I have today. But I started out with the intention of, okay, why, if I want to get on LinkedIn, why do I want to get on LinkedIn? Well, for me, what I wanted to do is, I knew that at some point in the future, I wanted to build and create my own recruitment agency, which is what I just started doing recently, right? Just a couple of months back, launched my own recruitment business. So back in 2016, I made that decision. Look, at some point in the future, I'm going to build my own recruitment agency. And in order to do that, in order to compete with these larger, well-established firms that have existed since, like the early 1900s or whatever, I need to have a strong presence. And so I saw social media as such a great way for me to establish that. So I got clear with my intention is, hey, I need a strong social media presence, especially on LinkedIn, because it's a professional platform. I'm in a professional related industry. I recruit for IT professionals. So I need to have a strong presence on LinkedIn at some point in the future. And I need to start planting the seeds right now, back in 2016, right? So that was my intention. So what is your intention, folks? Why do you want to build a strong presence for yourself on LinkedIn? Why do you want to build a strong LinkedIn, a LinkedIn network on LinkedIn? Why do you want to do it? What's your intention? Is it because you want to you want to be known in your industry? Is it because maybe you have some business that you're trying to grow and you want to build out a strong network of connections on LinkedIn? Is it because, like me, you want to launch some business, out into the future, and you just want to prepare for that? You want to build the seeds right now? Is it because you want to make new friends? Was it because you want to make new connections? Do you want to get invited to, I don't know, speaking engagements? Do you want to attract job opportunities? I mean, there's so many different reasons why you want to get active on LinkedIn, right? So this is why it's so important for you to get clear on your intention. So if you're taking notes, you want to write this down. What is my intention? What is my intention? Is it to get jobs? Is it to get attract new network connections? Is it to get known in my industry? What is it, folks? I don't know what that is for you. I know what it is for me. For me, it's because I wanna build a brand that is known, so that when I am at the point where I'm launching my recruitment business, I have a strong network of connections of people, specifically in the tech industry, because I'm a tech recruiter, right? I'm an IT recruiter. So you got to get clear on your intention. What is your intention? Because that's the thing that's going to keep you going and keep you consistent as you're looking to grow your network, grow your presence on LinkedIn. So that is tip number one. Now, tip number two is you have to make the commitment to connect with every single person you meet. Okay, like, and I'm talking here about, if you're at work, you want to connect with all of your coworkers, connect with all of your coworkers, right? Because most of you are working with your peers in your industry, your managers, your other people you meet at your company. You have to exchange LinkedIn information. Like, this is like the new virtual business card, right? Remember back, for those of you back in the old school, the old school times, you used to exchange business cards. And I still use business cards myself, and business cards are definitely something you want to make use of. But I see LinkedIn as almost like a digital version of your business card, because, and I would say it's even better, because someone looking at your business card, I mean, if someone looks at your business card, right, all they see is your name, your title, your phone number, your details, your email, whatever else you put on your business card. But when someone looks at your LinkedIn profile, I mean, they get a much better grasp of who you are, at least on a professional level, right? Because when you look at someone's LinkedIn profile, you see their career history, assuming that they filled out their profile, of course, because I know that some of you folks out there, you're not filling out your LinkedIn profile, but that's another topic, that's another story in itself. But for the most part, you get a better grasp of who that person is, and guess what? It makes it motivates people to want to connect with you even more, because they might notice something on your profile that gets their attention, right? This is why LinkedIn is so powerful. So think of LinkedIn as your virtual digital business card. So when you meet with people, whether it's a professional networking event, maybe it's a social event, right? A social event, a social gathering. You're at a party, you're hanging out with your relatives, your family, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, whoever it is. Like, these are all opportunities for you to exchange information, because guess what? They might know people that they can introduce you to or connect you with professionally, right? I mean, just recently, like, one of my social hobbies, one of my hobbies and activities is I'm into salsa dancing, right? So I'm somewhat involved in the salsa dancing community. But guess what? I always carry my business cards with me, folks, because you never know who I'm going to meet, right? Just recently, I connected with someone. We were talking about salsa dancing, but then we started talking about work, right? And I was like, hey, look, I'm an IT recruiter. Like, they talked about themselves and what they do. And I was like, oh, well, I'm an IT recruiter. And they're like, oh, well, whoa, I actually know someone that's on the market looking for work in IT. And I was like, great. And I gave my business card. And on my business card, I'm just going to show you folks what my business card looks like, right? On my business card is this thing you can scan with all my social links, right? So if you actually scan this, it goes to my Linktree page, which has my LinkedIn profile link right on top. Right on top is the link to my LinkedIn profile. And guess what? Most people are probably going to click on that first, and they're going to check out my LinkedIn profile, right? Especially people in tech. A lot of people in tech are on LinkedIn. So that is where they can see a bit more about me, right? And they can see who I am, what I do, um, you know, and they can obviously see how active I am on LinkedIn as well. So LinkedIn is extremely important, and you want to connect with people. You want to exchange that LinkedIn information with people that you meet, right? And obviously, maybe people who are not on LinkedIn, they're not active on LinkedIn. Maybe obviously they're not going to be able to connect with you on LinkedIn. But for the most part, depending on your field, depending on your profession, depending on your industry, most people are on LinkedIn. And you want to always make a point to exchange LinkedIn information. Always ask people, right? When you're maybe you're meeting with people, you're like, hey, by the way, are you on LinkedIn? Are you active on LinkedIn? Do you have a LinkedIn profile? If they do, look them up right there. Pull out your phone, look them up right there on the spot, folks, and send them a connection request, right? This is how I myself, bit by bit, this is how I started growing my network from back in 2016 when I had like maybe 800 or 900 connections. This is how I slowly started building my network connections. I made it a point with every single person I met. I'd ask them, "Are you on LinkedIn? Hey, let's connect on LinkedIn." If they're not on LinkedIn, I mean, whatever, right? I mean, obviously, I can't connect with them. I exchange other information, maybe phone numbers, emails, Facebook, something else. But if they're on LinkedIn, I'm going to connect with them, and that's how you start growing your network bit by bit. Now, Tip number three, and this is the third thing I did, was aside from connecting with everyone I met, because that is kind of slow. It's a very slow way to grow your network, is only connecting with people that you meet face to face. And I know there's a lot of advice going on out there. Oh, you should only connect with people that you met face to face. You should only connect with people that you know. Okay, great, but that doesn't really make sense. I mean, imagine going to a networking event and only speaking to people that you already know. What's the point? What's the point of even attending the event, folks? And you got to think of, just like I said, think of LinkedIn as your virtual business card. Think of LinkedIn, the social platform in general, as this big, huge, never-ending professional networking event, right? Think of it that way, and think how ridiculous it is if you're on LinkedIn and you're like, oh well, I'm only going to connect with people that I already know. I'm not going to connect with anyone else. I'm only going to connect with people I already know, and blah blah blah, and all of that. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Like if you were saying that at a networking event, at a professional networking event in person, if you were saying that, what would most people be saying? Most people would be like, why are you even here, bro? Like, like, why are you even attending this event if you only want to talk to people you already know? Like, what's the point? The whole point is to get there and expand your network. So the same thing with LinkedIn, folks, right? I mean, some would say that LinkedIn is kind of changing. It's not purely professional topics and content that's being posted, but at its essence, it is still a professional networking platform. Now, yes, there's weird people, there's crazy people, there's inappropriate people, there's weirdos, and perverted people, of course. Unfortunately, a lot of you ladies out there have to experience this as part of being on LinkedIn, unfortunately, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of great professional contacts that you can make on LinkedIn, folks. Right? I mean, that's the reality of it. Obviously, you have to exercise your judgment. You got to be careful about who you connect with. You got to be careful about who you decide to meet with. You got to be careful about who you exchange your personal information with. But outside of that, I mean, you can make a lot of great contacts on LinkedIn. So the third thing I did was I used to make every day, every single day, daily. I used to make outbound attempts at building new connections. And what I mean by that is, I would actively seek out people that I would want to connect with on LinkedIn, and I would send them connection requests. And I used to set a target for myself, like literally. Now think about what I'm about to say. All right, since 2016, I used to set a target for myself. I actually used to set a reminder on my phone every day. Make 10 new LinkedIn connections. So every day at like I think it used to be at like 7 o'clock or something. Ding ding ding. Ding. I get an alert on my phone. Send 10 new LinkedIn connection requests every single day. I used to get this, and I used to do that, and it would not be a random approach, right? So given the fact that I'm a tech recruiter, I would think about, okay, what am I recruiting on right now? Who are people in this field that I could connect with? And those are the types of people that I would send LinkedIn connection requests to. Right. So for example, let's say I was recruiting for Java developers at the time, right? So what I do is, when I get my alert on my phone, my reminder, ding, 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 you got to make 10 LinkedIn connection requests. I'd go on LinkedIn. I just search Java developers in the Greater Toronto area, and I just seek out people in the search results. I just seek out people who seemed interesting, like great profiles, great experience, and I send them LinkedIn connection requests. Right. So I do 10 of these every day, and I'd send a personalized invitation. Like, I wouldn't just randomly hit connect, 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 connect. Although in some cases, maybe that might be a good strategy, but what I would actually do, because I was still building a name for myself back then, right? Like 2016, I just started being more active on social media. I wanted to create a name for myself. So the first thing I did was, as I'm sending out these connection requests, is I reminded myself, hey, I gotta send out a personalized request. Now, your personalized request doesn't have to be anything fancy, folks. Like my request was very straightforward. It was, hey, Bob, my name's Dean. We haven't met before. We don't know each other, but I recruit in IT. I just came across your profile. I recruit on Java developer positions every now and then. I thought it would make sense for us to be connected. Would love to have you in my network. Feel free to accept my invitation to connect. Regards, Dean. Boom. That's it. Nothing fancy, folks. I'm a straightforward guy myself. All right, so I just keep it straightforward with the personalized messages as well. Nothing fluffy, nothing over the top. Very straightforward. In fact, most of you who connected with me back in 2016. If you if you ever exchange messages with me, if you go to the message history, you'll see that if I sent you a personalized invite, it was something very straightforward. Something very straightforward that'll help you decide whether or not you want to connect with me or not. Now, keep in mind, folks, not every person you send out these connection requests to Even if you personalize the message, not all of them are going to accept the invite. All right. And don't take that personally. Don't get all mad and upset. It could be because, they have that view that they only want to connect with people that they already know. Hey, some people out there, even though that's a bad strategy, in my opinion, and it doesn't make any sense why you would be on a social networking platform, a professional social networking platform, if you don't want to connect with other people. But that's them, right? To each their own, right? So don't get upset at people who are thinking like that. Other thing is, maybe they're just not active on LinkedIn. Maybe they have a LinkedIn profile, but they're just not active on LinkedIn. So maybe they're not even checking for your invites. And this is why I set a target of 10, because I know that not all 10 of these invites I send, not everyone's going to accept it. But what I do know is maybe a certain percentage will accept the invite, maybe 50%. So that means I made 5 new connections that day. And imagine if I do this every single day of the week. Let's say I only do it on working days, 5 days a week. That's 25 new connections. 25 new connections, folks. And let's do that over a month, right? 4 weeks on average in a month. That's 100 new connections every month. I mean, that's something that I'm growing my network. I'm proactively growing my network with people that it makes sense for me to connect with. Now, maybe you're not a recruiter. Maybe you're a tech professional. You should be sending out your maybe you're a tech professional. Maybe you're in some other field. Maybe you're in accounting. Maybe you're in finance. I don't care. Whatever it is, figure out who should I be connecting with. Who does it make sense for me to connect with? Now, all of you, if your intention, going back to tip number one, if your intention was in order to leverage LinkedIn so that it can help you in your job search at some point in the future. Part of your those outbound connection requests you're sending should be with recruiters. All right, you should be sending out connection requests with recruiters, because you're going to want to need to connect with those recruiters at some point in the future, even if you're not looking for work right now. At some point in the future, right? Think ahead, folks. You got to think ahead. So that is tip number 3: is you gotta proactively seek out new connections on LinkedIn. Don't just depend on people finding you. Don't just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to fill in my LinkedIn profile and I'm going to make it look nice. I'm going to make it look fancy. I put a professional profile picture. I got a fancy little banner there that says what I do. Filled out my profile. Now everyone's going to start coming, just bombarding my profile and sending me connection requests. Not going to happen, folks. All right. Never happened to me back in 2016 when I started being active on LinkedIn. It didn't happen. It did not happen for me. Right. So you got to take proactive steps every day in sending outbound connections, LinkedIn request connections to people that it makes sense for you to connect, and send those personalized invitations. Right. And I personally set a target of 10 as I think as that kind of, I started seeing success with that. I actually increased that out to actually making 20 connections a day. But I think recently LinkedIn started implementing restrictions. I think you can only send a maximum of 100 new connections every week. So just keep that in mind. Only 100 new connection requests every week. I think that's the current limit that LinkedIn has put per week. All right. So just keep that in mind. But set a target for yourself, folks. Right. I'd say I think sending out 10 connections every day daily. I think that's very reasonable. It's not time consuming. So set a target for yourself and do that, and you're going to see your network start to grow and grow and grow bit by bit. All right. So that's tip number 3. Now, tip number 4 is, okay, so you're starting to grow your network. Now, it's one thing to have people in your network. It's one thing to have a large network. But folks, just because people have you in your network does not mean they're gonna remember you. Okay, because look, I have almost now 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. And I'm sure not all of those people even are constantly thinking about me. They're not constantly remembering me. And I'm certainly not keeping track of all 30,000 of those connections. No way. No way on earth, folks. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you folks. Okay. I probably don't even remember the name. I definitely don't remember the names of any of the, most of those 30,000 people. Right. So the 4th tip is you got to see ways on how you can add value to your LinkedIn network so that you're staying in constant communication, or at least consistent communication. Maybe not constant, but consistent. Now, how I did this is I started posting content on LinkedIn, because I reached a point, right, back in 2016 where I was like, wait a minute, I'm approaching more than 1,000 connections here. I can't keep track of all these connections. They can't keep track of me. It would be arrogant for me to think that all of these great people I'm connecting with, that they think of me when they want a job, right? Because I'm a tech recruiter connecting with tech professionals. I want these tech professionals to think about me first and foremost when they're looking for jobs. I want to be known as the tech recruiter in Toronto that everyone thinks about when they're looking for work, right? Not that I can, help everyone, but at least if they think about me, then I know that, hey, at least I can see if I can connect with these people with opportunities for the roles that I'm recruiting on, right? And I can't expect people to just constantly think about me if I'm just connected to them on LinkedIn and nothing else. So what do? I started posting content. I started posting content because I knew if I started providing things of value to my network, to my LinkedIn network, then I know that in exchange for the value that I'm providing, I get their attention, at least for a brief moment, right? Whether it's a post, whether it's a video, whether it's a article, whether it's, I don't know, I post about some event that I was at. These are a way for me to put value out there in exchange for people's attention. And attention is the most valuable currency that you have, in general, I would say, folks, right? Now, when I say attention, I'm kind of hesitant to even use the word attention because I don't want you to think it's a kind of attention where you're dependent on, oh, I'm Mr. Mrs. Popular. I'm so popular on LinkedIn. Oh, people are giving me attention. No, I'm not talking about that kind of attention, folks. This is a logical, strategic type of attention. Okay, so when I first started posting stuff on LinkedIn, I used to post back then. Okay, this is back then, back in 2016. I think I used to post like 3-4 times a day on LinkedIn. I used to have these scheduled posts I used to put on LinkedIn. I used to post every single day, multiple times every day on LinkedIn. But I didn't care about the likes. I didn't get many likes back then. I got like one or two. I think one time I got like 5 likes, and I almost passed out with excitement because I was so excited. I got 5 likes. But look, the point here, folks, is don't worry about likes. Do not worry about people liking your post or even how many people viewed your post. At the beginning, when you start posting stuff on LinkedIn, it's all about consistency. Okay, just start posting consistent, valuable content bit by bit. And this goes back to the previous tip number 3. As you proactively grow your network, more and more people are going to start seeing your content, and which means statistically, more and more people are going to start liking your stuff as well. Because not everyone that looks at your stuff is going to hit like, and that doesn't mean they don't support you. It doesn't mean that they don't agree with what you're posting about. It's simply because they forget. They might not want to do it. They might not want to publicly show that they support what you're saying, right? Especially for myself. Look, I'm a tech recruiter, right? At my end, I mostly post job search related content, right? Now, most of my supporters, they don't want to publicly like my post because they don't want their employer to know that they're looking at job search related content, right? Because then their manager, their supervisor, their company, they're going to be like, hey, why is this guy liking posts about job search stuff? Or is this guy looking for jobs, or is this person looking for jobs and stuff like that, right? So a lot of my supporters, they support me in private. They support me. They don't support me publicly. They send me referrals behind the scene. They connect me with their friends and their colleagues and stuff like that behind the scenes. But they don't support my posts publicly because they don't want to publicly show that they're looking at job search related stuff, right? I remember once I was at this event. It was at this tech event. I think it was what's the one that Amazon does. I think it was like the AWS event that they hold every year. I was at one of those a few years back, and this guy that was connected to me on LinkedIn. He approaches me like on the slide, like secretly. He's like, "Hey, Dean, hey, I just want to speak with you real quick. I can't be seen with you in public because I know you post a lot of job search stuff and people know about you. But hey, I just want to know, I really love your stuff. I really appreciate your stuff. It's helped me a bunch. Gotta go by." You know what I mean? So look, not all of your supporters are going to publicly support you, folks, for some reason or the other, right? So don't take that personally. And this is why simultaneously you have to be growing your network bit by bit every day. And the more you grow your network, the more people are going to see your content. Now, you should be posting about stuff related to your field, your expertise, your knowledge. That is how you provide, value to your network, right? That's how you stay on top of people's minds. So just keep this in mind. That is tip number 4. See ways to add value. And one of the best ways is through posting content. Now, tip number 5, and I should have made this tip number 4 instead of, I should have switched these around. But tip number 5 is engage with other people's content, right? This is one of the best ways. Let's say you're shy. You don't want to post your own content. You don't know what to write. You don't know how to write your own articles and post it on LinkedIn. Okay, fine. Fair enough. A great starting point is simply engaging with other people's content, right? You got your own LinkedIn connections on LinkedIn. They're posting their own stuff. Comment and share your own thoughts and your perspective. That is another great way to engage with your network, and also to make sure your network remembers you and thinks about you as well, right? If you're consistently commenting and engaging with other people's content and posts, even if it's just them saying, hey, I just got this certification, or hey, I'm at this event, or hey, I just started a new job here, or they post something or the other, you commenting and maybe commenting and sharing your own thoughts, or maybe just showing them support, saying, hey, congratulations, great job, or something like that. At least they're seeing you, folks, right? They're seeing you in the comments. So you're like a familiar name and a familiar face. And this is another way another thing you can do to be a consistent presence on LinkedIn, to your LinkedIn network and to your LinkedIn connections. So don't just make it about, okay, it's all about what I'm posting and this and that. No, like, engage with other people's content as well. This is something some of you might notice me doing as well. I make it a point every day to look through my LinkedIn feed, and look at some interesting posts and share my own thoughts, or share my own perspective, or maybe a comment to get more awareness for the post. Right? I try to do this every single day, and that's something you folks should be doing as well. And I'm pretty sure that the LinkedIn algorithm, gets you more visibility as well. When it notices that you're engaging with other people's content, you get more visibility for yourself as well. I have no proof of that, but it's just something I've noticed, is that when I engage with other people's posts, my own posts get more engagement as well. It's really like a give and take from what I'm seeing. So just make sure you keep that in mind. And now, final tip, folks, tip number 6, extremely, extremely important. Just be a consistent, reliable presence on LinkedIn. So many job seekers make the mistake of not being consistent, and it's just, you a lot of some of you folks, what you're doing is you only come on LinkedIn when you're looking for jobs. You only come on LinkedIn, and you're only engaging on LinkedIn when you're looking for work. And I totally get that. Look, I totally understand it, right? Obviously, you want to use LinkedIn when you're looking for work, when you're looking for a job. I get it. But folks, let's think long term, okay? Let's think long term. Let's think strategically. Like, you got to be a consistent presence on LinkedIn, so that when you are in need of a job at some point in the future, you've been there the whole time. Like, you haven't just showed up just because you want something. The people in your network notice that, hey, this person's been sharing so much value over the years, or over the last couple of months, or over the past couple of weeks on LinkedIn. They're constantly sharing their expertise. They're sharing their knowledge. They're sharing helpful content. And oh, look, now they're looking for a job. I mean, most of your connections, they're gonna feel more obligated to want to help you, right? Versus you just showing up when you need something. I mean, how many of you out there, raise your hand, how many of you out there know someone, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, they only reach out to you when they want something? And think about your reaction to those people. They only reach out when they want something. How motivated do you feel to help them? Usually, if you do help them, it's just out of maybe obligation to them, or because they know someone that you know, or they're part of your family or something like that. You're obligated. You don't even put your full effort in helping them, right? Because you're like, oh, I mean, they only reach out to me when they want something. So it's the same thing on LinkedIn, right? I mean, are you a consistent presence? Are you constantly there? Are you constantly adding value? Are you constantly seeing ways to add value to your network? Or are you only showing up when you want something? Think about it, folks, right? Be a consistent presence. I mean, when I say a consistent presence, I'm not saying, you don't have to post something every single day. You don't have to comment on other people's posts every single day. But I mean, set aside time, maybe, I don't know, 2, 3 times a week. I mean, it's not a big deal. And you don't have to spend a big amount of time too. Like, set aside like 10, 15 minutes every day, or a couple of times a week, to just go on LinkedIn, just engage with your friends' post. Maybe post something, a motivational message, maybe share your expertise, maybe share something exciting or interesting you're working on currently. Be a consistent presence. That's how you gotta show that you're there for your network on LinkedIn. Show that you're there. That's how you build that trust and credibility as well, right? So look, these are some of the tips. These are some of the tips that should help you build a strong, LinkedIn connections on LinkedIn if you're looking to grow from it. Hope everyone got value out of this. And remember, folks, it's about doing this consistently and in combination with each other. So don't just do 1 or 2 of these tips. Like, you should be doing all 6 of these consistently in combination with each other. That's what's given me the ability to grow a huge base of LinkedIn connections. I'm approaching around 30,000 connections now, over 40,000 connections on LinkedIn. I really appreciate everyone's support in me reaching that point. But it's been a result of me doing most of each and every one of these 6 tips that I shared today, and doing it consistently over time. And folks, when you have a strong presence on LinkedIn, I mean, so many opportunities come your way: job opportunities, speaking opportunities, industry opportunities, new friends, new connections. I mean, it's just endless. So I want you to make use of that. So make sure you follow these tips, and you're gonna get these kind of results. But just keep in mind, it's not going to happen overnight. For me, I've been doing this. I've been posting on LinkedIn and building my network on LinkedIn since 2016, and it's only within the past couple of years that I'm starting to really be able to take advantage of all this work I've been putting into my content, my videos, and all the stuff that I'm doing on LinkedIn. All right. So keep this in mind, folks. So look, hope this information helped. Make sure you like and share with your network as well, for any of your friends, your connections who might be looking for advice on how to grow their LinkedIn connections. And again, if you're an IT professional anywhere in Canada, or if you're an organization looking for tech talent anywhere in Canada, make sure you reach out to me for more information on how I can assist you in your job search, or if you're an organization, assist you in your recruitment process. So make sure you reach out to me for more information about that. And again, also make sure you subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. A new edition released every Monday in the afternoon. I speak about a job search topic, and I speak about a recruitment hiring related topic on the newsletter. So make sure you subscribe for that. If you want to see where that is, just go to my LinkedIn profile after the stream. And it's just in the featured section. You'll see one of my articles posted. Just click on the article, and on that page, you can just hit subscribe, and you'll get the notification. All right. So that being said, I'm going to go into the comments. So if you have any questions about today's topic, feel free to put in the comments. So it doesn't look like there's any questions on today's topic. So look, I hope everyone enjoyed today's segment. So I'm going to end today's session. It doesn't look like there's any other questions. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and mark your calendars, folks. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone, I'm right here to help you folks out with job search tips, advice, and strategies to help you out in your job search. So mark your calendars, and I'll see you next week again. Same time, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you hit like and share, and I'll see you around soon. Take care, everyone.